You know, we told you about this temporary gun ban in Albuquerque yesterday. Albuquerque's a city I'd like to get to. Never been, actually. You ever been to Albuquerque? I've never been.
Nice place. Yeah, my college roommate is a doctor in Albuquerque.
Oh, nice. I hear good things. New Mexico was having a moment a few years ago as people were just saying, oh, it's, quality of life and the cities and everything is great. But let's look in the politics of the situation right now. The governor, Lujan Grisham, decided that we were just talking before about DC violence and crime. The fixation that Democrats have, we actually should always bring this in the conversation. They still think it's a function of the guns. Too many people are breaking the windows of cars and stealing stuff. Get the guns off the streets. Too many hardened criminals who have been arrested 50 times and have 20 illegal firearms at home because it's not hard for them to get them and they don't care what the laws are. Get the guns off the streets. Like, this is just, there's like a monomaniacal focus on this of just get the guns. Well, Lujan, and it's get the criminals off the streets, actually. Enforce the law. People that break the law, that hurt people, that prey on their fellow human beings need to be punished and need to be taken out of society for a period of time, a long period of time. But the governor thinks that if she just tells lawful gun owners you can't conceal or open carry, that's going to make, for 30 days, under a health order, that's going to make people safer. Here is Clay. This was kind of a shock. Over at CNN, one of the anchors at CNN tried to ask the very obvious question of the governor, where exactly is, to be clear, everyone, in state or federal constitution, right? Or like the big C constitution, like the Constitution, or the New Mexico Constitution, where do you have the right to just change the law like this? Here's how that exchange went. Play 6.
Do you think you're on solid constitutional ground here?
Well, we're going to see. I mean, look, I wouldn't do it if I didn't think I had the right. I have the right.
Where is the right? Where is the right?
In the state of New Mexico. Public health, it's a suspension. It's not a ban.
The New Mexico Constitution, I looked last night, Article 2, Section 6 says this, quote, no law shall abridge the right of citizens to keep and bear arms for security and defense. No municipality or county shall regulate in any way any incident of the right to keep and bear arms. Are you not in violation of both the U.S. Constitution and your state's Constitution?
Clay, this woman is a governor. She is a lawyer. And, congrats that CNN's Poppy Harlow.
Phenomenal questioning. I mean, that's what actual journalists should do.
Right. I mean,
look up the New Mexico Constitution. I'm sure she didn't look it up herself, but whoever on her staff is doing the research, more power to them.
She is, meaning the governor, blatantly if words have meaning, the governor of New Mexico is violating the Second Amendment rights of the people of Albuquerque and violating the state constitutional rights of the people of Albuquerque all at once. Could not be more clear. And you notice her justification for this. And then it goes a little further. Here she's asked, well, what if a Republican governor decided, you know what, health emergency, no abortions in my state? Forget what the legislature says. Forget what the state constitution says. Even if the state constitution says abortion is legal, I'm just going to say no because I'm the governor. Play 7.
Are you overreaching? Let me give you a hypothetical, right? You're a Democratic governor who's doing this. What if a Republican governor of a state declares a health emergency and unilaterally outlaws abortion in that state, where the legislature has not done so by statute? Following your logic, would that also be sound?
In this situation, honestly, I don't think so.
What law school did this governor graduate from?
We need to look up where she went to law school, but that's another fabulous question. I want to give credit to Poppy Harlow. I mean, that is what an actual journalist should do when they have a newsmaker on, right? You are the governor of New Mexico. You have enacted or attempting to enact a law, even though you isn't passed by your legislature, but you're attempting to basically suspend the right of gun ownership. Here's the problem, and that's a great hypothetical on abortion, flipping the script, because a Democrat governor would never allow that to happen. But here's the big story here that CNN seems to be tiptoeing up to. We allowed for months, if not years, basic constitutional rights to be abridged over COVID. And they used the COVID emergency as a rationale to do so. Poppy Harlow could easily be asked. These are great questions, and credit to you for asking them now as it pertains to gun rights in New Mexico. Where were you for 2 years when many people all over this country had their rights abridged, and the citation was, we've got a public health emergency because of COVID, therefore there is no existing law that can't be overturned? I mean, people in California, to my knowledge, Buck, unless I'm wrong, still haven't been apologized to for not being able to go to church. Their kids not being able to go to school.
While cannabis dispensaries, weed stores stayed open. The weed stores stayed open. The churches did not. If you're looking for an epitaph of the failures of Democrat Fauciite rule in 2020, that's a pretty good one.
I'll give you a fun. I still like shopping here. My neighborhood, we have an ice cream shop. It never shut down for COVID. Never took a day off. Because a lot of people didn't think about this, but you know that like cupcake stores and ice cream shops were all considered to be essential businesses because they served food.
Yeah.
So in many parts of the country, those establishments were never forced to shut down. To your point, like if a cannabis dispensary is open, but you're in California and many people out there had their job shut down, I think we had the great question. Again, it's like the media suddenly waking up. We had Meet the Press ask Gavin Newsom, wait a minute, you shut down so many churches, but you allowed Hollywood studios to be back making movies. How do you reconcile? Do you remember that story?
The restaurant next.
Yes.
Our brains went to the same place. There was a restaurant that had outdoor dining that was compliant. That was told because all the outdoor dining was that we even forget this. California shut down outdoor dining.
Yes.
Anyone who's wondering, they were able to prove 0 cases of outdoor COVID transmission. There's actually no basis to believe that outdoor transmission is even a thing that happens, really. I mean, maybe if someone like sneezes directly into your eyeball, but they shut down outdoor dining in that restaurant, that woman who got very angry, rightfully so about it.
L.A. area.
In the L.A. area, and right next to her restaurant was a massive tented catered eating section for a Hollywood production that was going on, which was totally fine. And she's just sitting here like, so I go bankrupt, but they get to do this. Why? Politics, power.
For people out there who forgot about this, it was a perfect distillation of how broken so many of our COVID rules were. This woman, and my recollection, Buck, is that she had spent substantial amounts of money to try to create as much outdoor seating as she could to try to comply with the draconian policies put in place by L.A. County. They shut down her restaurant, even though there was a lot of outdoor seating. The parking lot was tented over literally next door to her restaurant, and they had a full catered meal for the movie that was shooting, where you could basically reach out and touch it from her shuttered down restaurant.
This was Angela Marsden, owner of the Pineapple Hill Saloon. This is December 2020. Pineapple Hill Saloon and Grill in Sherman Oaks, a neighborhood Clay and I know well. And yeah, she wasn't even sure she'd be able to reopen the business at all after this. She took out a loan and spent $80,000 to build outdoor dining. And then just in a fit of whimsy, your buddy, Gavin Newsom, said, sorry, outdoor dining, too dangerous too. I think he then went to French Laundry right after this, too, just to be clear. I think this is right around the French Laundry fiasco, which
I think that's true. I do think it would have been an L.A. County rule as opposed to a state law, right? I think it was L.A. County, that awful Barbara, whatever her name was, who was like the Barbara Ferrer.
Oh, who was the health czar? And everyone's like, this is the health czar? Yeah.
Yeah. She did not look very healthy. She shut. I feel like L.A. County, because Orange County had different rules just south. So I feel like the L.A. County rules were very arbitrary. But regardless, the rule that was in place at that point in time was you could not eat outdoors at this woman's restaurant, but Gavin Newsom was allowing the filming to take place, and L.A. County was as well. So they had a huge catered under a tent dinner next door to her that was perfectly permissible.
I don't know how more people don't recognize that this was a trial run of totalitarianism in America. I really don't. I don't understand.
Zero. And here's the thing, Buck.
No consequences.
Zero consequences. We talked about this last week. Montgomery County, which is the county just north of Washington, D.C., the fact that they were requiring kindergartners to wear masks. Another school in Montgomery County is now requiring first graders to wear masks over COVID. These are N95 masks. This is not going away because the consequences here have still not occurred. Nobody was held accountable for getting everything wrong with COVID from the Democrat side. No one. Not one politician lost his or her job over getting COVID wrong.
Andrew Cuomo lost his job, but because he was grabbing ladies in parts they didn't want grabbed. That's what happened, remember? Not because of the grandparents getting sent back into the nursing homes with COVID and all that, and then lying about it and covering it up. It was because he was like, come here, I need a smooch.
Yeah,
Cuomo.
That's right.
Yeah, he said it.
People didn't care at all about the thousands of people dead because of his policies on nursing homes. They cared about him, like touching a woman on the thigh when she didn't want to be, or I think it was a stomach.
Yeah.
Like it was even
honestly,
stomach.
Yeah.
Stupid argument. I mean, honestly, just on the sexual harassment stuff, Andrew Cuomo should have, never lost his job. I mean, that's crazy.
And yet here we are.